When last we left off, I was talking about... Oh, hold on. Look at it. Look at it. That, ladies and gentlemen, that is game. That is the fans right there. There's actually a door somewhere over here. That's the fans right there. Because you know, id Software, had they still existed in the original form, would probably not have done this. This is epic. And there's 440 enemies in this game, in this particular level. That is crazy. There's probably more enemies in this one level than there are in most games. I think there's a door off to the side over here. No, I thought there was, but there isn't. But still, there's two different entryways, which is really quite cool indeed. But when last I left off, I was talking about a game called No More Room in Hell. It's a free Half-Life 2 mod that is a cooperative zombie survival game. I had considered reviewing it at some point, but in all honesty, I don't really like it that much. It's very much... Imagine... Oh, there is one of those. Let's see. How about, it's kind of like... It's like Arma, but not. It's like Arma, but without the open world. That's what it is. And it's really, really tough. The zombies can do a lot of damage to you. The weapons are all really realistic. The SKS in that is modeled correctly. I think it's modeled on the Chinese SKS. And the Chinese SKS, which I don't own, is supposed to be of just about as good a quality as any of the other SKSs. But I still prefer just the Yugo SKS more than anything else. The Yugoslavian SKS, I feel, is probably the best of the SKSs, although there's very limited differences between them, just because it has that spigot on it for the grenade launcher. Well, it's not a spigot. Anyway, it's a gubbin where you can put a grenade on it. It actually works as a really good muzzle brake. Actually, it really damps down the recoil. I was really surprised the first time I shot an SKS, just how limited the recoil actually was. It's a very comfortably recoiling firearm, to say the least, and it's one of my favorite rifles of all time. And the SKS, you know, it's one of those guns that really does just keep on giving in many respects. I mean, in terms of price, it's probably the best you're going to get with any sort of semi-automatic rifle these days. Or any day, really. Hell, one of the things about the SKS that I really like is in terms of consumables and things of that nature. The ammo for it's very cheap, very plentiful, and most importantly, it has that non-detachable magazine, which some would consider bad, but you can just use fucking stripper clips with that. And stripper clips are way cheaper than magazines, which is one of the reasons why they were used for so long anyway. And it's like, you can still, it's like, I've mentioned this so many times, but it's just such a good gun. Every time I talk about it, it's just, fuck you, you fucking imp. But anyway, where was I? The magazines are always so expensive. Well, they're not necessarily expensive, per se, although 20 bucks per magazine is not what I'd call cheap either. But, you know, they're not necessarily that expensive, but if you want to actually have a good amount of them, you're going to have to pay a good amount of money. And with the SKS, you can just buy a bunch of stripper clips, and they work. And they're not that terribly slower than a magazine would be. And it's not like we're going to be fighting fucking, you know, orcs or chaos, so it doesn't really need to be that fast. I guess if you're a competition shooter, it might be too slow for your taste, but seeing as how I'm not really what you'd call a competition shooter, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. And this level right here is one of my favorite levels in this second episode. I just like the boxes. I fucking like boxes. Don't talk bad about my boxes. Although for me, my cardboard boxes are not empty. They're always full of collectibles. But yeah. Talking about No More Room in Hell. That is a game that I tried to play co-op, and unless you are really, really good at it, you're going to die all the goddamn time. Good luck trying to finish a level. Good luck trying to even come close to finishing a level. Because it is hard. There's never any ammo. There's never any real pickups anywhere. And even cheating. Cheating in all the guns, you know, is also really gutty tough as well. So I just... Fuck! So I just don't really like it. I don't really like simulator-style games. Arma isn't bad. I've actually not played that much of Arma 2. But I have played a good amount of Operation Flashpoint Dragon Rising, Operation Flashpoint is pretty much what is Arma's spiritual predecessor, and it was supposed to be a really good simulation styled game. I didn't like the original that much, just because, once again, it was more difficult than I was willing to put into it, but Dragon Rising was a pretty fun game. Well, I say it was fun. I played it co-op with Mizio back in the early days of the Mizio era, and it has a special place in my heart because of that. But in all reality, even then, we never really finished anything about it. And there's still the infamous moment where I ordered the helicopter pilot to leave the vehicle, and he did just that, and we died. No, I don't think he left the vehicle, but I think he landed it, and we had to walk in to complete the mission. And it was a mission that we played, like, I don't know how many times. But it was a lot of fun for that, at least. But we need not let that detain us at the moment. But yeah, Arma just can't get into it. I never could get into any simulator games just because I just don't find them that fun. I just never have. I guess that makes me a filthy casual. It's like I can't really get into Morrowind. I tried. I really tried a few months ago. I tried getting into it and just could not. I've got all the graphical mods. I got the mod to make the combat, you know, fun. And I still get comments to this day saying that you just don't know how to play the game. It's like, if I attack with my dagger to an if I attack an enemy right in front of me with my dagger, should it not get hit by said dagger? Because in real life, that's not. It's like, if I stab at something, I'm probably gonna hit it if it's right in front of me. It's like, ugh. But that's the thing. There's people who love that game, and I just don't. I like the Oblivion combat. I really do. Because, like, you stab at an enemy, and you know what? You actually hit him. Is that bad? I guess it is. I guess in Doom here, you know, we should shoot at an enemy and it misses. You know, that's kind of what happens in the Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3. Is like you can shoot at them and it'll miss. Actually, no, that's not true. That's not how that works. You can shoot at them and hit them, but it just won't do that much damage to them, depending upon your stats. Because, like, you can shoot, you know, an enemy in the head, and it won't kill him. You know, you can, like, shoot him with a you know, machine gun or a lever action rifle. I really like the fact that Lincoln's repeater is in the game, although I don't think he actually owned a lever action rifle. Now, he did have some of them demonstrated for him, like the Spencer Carbine and I think the Henry. But I don't think he actually owned a Henry. Now, the rifle in the game isn't a Henry. It's actually a later Winchester Yellow Boy, but which wasn't invented until after his death. I think it was invented about a year after he died. Well, he didn't die. After a year after he was assassinated. There we go. He just died. He tripped and fell on a bullet. That's what happened. So he wouldn't have actually owned that one. But then again, I don't think that's really that big of a deal when it comes to Fallout. I mean, who cares? Oh, it has a loading gate. That's terrible. Worst game ever. I imagine there's a mod that mods that in. I would be very surprised if there wasn't. This is the worst game ever because it is not entirely accurate to the way the gun was really in real life. And you know what's funny? If you ever go to alternatehistory.com, which is not that bad of a website, you know, but it's always funny to see just the debates about what is and what isn't impossible. It's like a whole website full of Q*berts. Not, is it Q*bert or Q*bert? It can't be Q*bert, is it? Q*bert, the character from Futurama, but now I'm thinking like Q*bert, the guy from the arcade game, who like swears all the time every time he loses. But whatever the case may be, they always say everything is impossible, and they can be kind of funny and kind of annoying at times. I like alternatehistory.com. It's fun to read some of the stuff, some of the scenarios people come up with. That was one of the things that was very popular. Freeze is coming, yes, we all know. Sometimes it does it, and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why. But yeah, almost I think like depending on how long we record, eventually it will do that freeze. I don't know what it is. I have no clue. But for now, I'm probably gonna get killed, and I did because it took too long to wind this thing up. Fuck me. Let's see, where was I? Sliders got really popular because they introduced the alternate Earth concept to the masses. Now, a lot of their alternate Earths didn't make a lot of sense. Most notably, the youth world, I think, is the most infamous one of them all. It's where Howard Stern somehow became president. Now, I know some people are like, well, Donald Trump became president, it's so easy. Well, it's like, yeah, it's not entirely the same thing. But hey, you know what? As we all know, cars are the same thing as shoeboxes, so therefore it counts. GeneralLotz, that's various reasoning. Okay, how about you go fuck yourself? That's just what I say. But anyway, where was I? Yeah, you know, it's where Howard Stern became the president, and somehow was able to make it to where after you reach a certain age, you can't, like, get a job or something. Or some crazy thing like that. And so it's where, like, legitimately older people were oppressed. And I'm not really sure how you do this. My only theory, and I'd love to see if there's actually an alternatehistory.com post on that, but my theory is, in that universe, and this would be so hilarious to me, California is actually a North Korean-styled dictatorship. Because that's really the only way you're going to get something that pervasive. Because to do this, to make it to where only the youths can have any political rights. Donald Trump would do that? Yeah, right. Go fuck yourself on that again. Although I don't think my audience is that stupid. In fact, my audience is quite intelligent, so I won't... But still, you know people would say Donald Trump would do that. But anyway, in order for him to do that, he'd have to not only pass it through both the bill and the House, but it would require a constitutional amendment. Mainly because any president who... Well, actually, you'd have to suspend election, probably. At which point, whatever president did that would immediately be impeached. And the Marines would kindly walk them to a waiting prison cell. But ultimately, though, let's say that didn't happen. Let's say it didn't happen. You'd still have to somehow get it passed through all the states and then make it a constitutional amendment, which they wouldn't do, because it would so not be in anyone's self-interest. Because that literally means everybody in the population has to be discriminated against. Because everybody gets old, you know, and that's the thing. It's why I never understood why people don't like old people. Or why people want old people to not have access to medicine. Don't you realize you're gonna be old at some point? I mean, I guess people, when they're young, they're like, I'll never be old, man. I'll always be young forever. That's about the only thing I can think of, you know? Because it's like, you know, it's like, why would you not want there to be a good healthcare system for older people? But whatever, ladies and gentlemen, I do not know people, or no one ever said humanity was insane. They just, no one ever said humanity was sane. There we are. Let's actually save so we don't have to play through the entire goddamn level again. But let's see, where was I? But yeah, the Howard Stern verse just doesn't make any sense. Just on verge, but now once again, you'd have to take a POD so far back that you'd have to pretty much not even have a United States as we would know it to have something like that even have a chance of happening. Because you'd have to have it to where the U.S. was a unitary state. You'd have to have a lot more executive power than exists today. And even then, I don't see you being able to pass a law to do that. You know, I just do not see it. Now, I'm pretty sure somebody who's completely ignorant would say it'd be really easy, but people who actually know political science would know that that's pretty much not even remotely possible. But that's one of the things you'll find on the internet these days, is people who like to act like they know what they're talking about but really don't know anything. I actually had a comment a while back talking about how, you know, we could just set up traps for home defense, not recognizing how horribly illegal that is, and really stupid as well. That makes about as much sense as a magazine cutoff. You know, it's like, you're joking, right? Traps, really? What if they don't go down the way that you had traps set up? What happens then? You know, like, what about if a fire department individual was checking out the house because it was on fire, he opens up the door and gets a face full of something, you know? It's not, it's illegal for a reason. It's so that what I just said doesn't happen, but people don't know. And it's just, a lot of people don't know, you know? I think in some respects a lot of the social justice warriors just don't know anything. They just act like they do, which is so annoying, you know? I hate it when people think that they know what they're talking about when clearly a simple Google search proves that they really don't. But in any event, we're gonna try to fuckity fuck. Here? Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Well, at least it didn't finish my sentence and thus look like an idiot. We're going to head back and try to kill that fucking Captain Demon. What up, dude? You have no body. Oh, look, you coming apart. As Lo Wang was off to say, and kick! Yay! Well, that didn't last very long. And so, I'm GeneralLotz, wishing you good sliders, good starting at SG1, whatever makes you happy.